thinking about it.
Now just read out your credit card number and the expiration date while we're recording out loud as you're purchasing that.
Who does that?
Who
does that?
Really?
Who needs to enter a credit card number these days? Basically, you like stick your finger over a thing, or it just looks to you as like, sure, you want to buy this. It's okay.
Especially when you're buying something from the Bezos. They know all that. It's already
they
there.
know all that. Yeah.
They're like, you're
yeah.
You're
By the way,
probably Chris.
Your credit card's already expired. We updated the new one. Your bank hasn't sent it to you yet. All right, let's before this turns into everyone's bad consumer advice.
Welcome to Everyone Racers,
a show designed for the world of low-dollar racing and oddball car culture.
It doesn't matter what kind of limit champ or lucky track dog league you run.
SCCA or NASA, we won't discriminate.
as long as you drive it hard and built it yourself.
Join us each week for tech discussions, tips,
tricks, as well as news and notes from the world of amateur endurance racing.
And whether it's on the spot, hella sweet, or we're lucky enough, and Chrissy,
and I give you just the tip.
We're sure you'll giggle a little and learn even less.
Everyone report to the paddock.
This is Chris.
This is Chrissy.
And I'm Mental.
And we are Everyone Racers. Thank you for joining us for a ubiquitous small block Mopar episode of the podcast. It's episode 318. Chrysler made 318s for nearly 50 years, and it still isn't as satisfying as trying our E1R Big Car card. You should find the link in our show notes. You never know what you're going to get. Yep. Short and sweet. Okay.
This next segment is also going to be short and sweet because what we've been working on is the entire subject of the main topic, basically.
Right? And there's nothing new. Nope.
Yep. All right.
Okay. Mental, where have you been?
Oh, I just got back from New Hampshire.
Yay!
No
like today you got back. Yeah, we are recording this on a Monday for everyone.
I did.
Throwing everybody off.
Yeah. I departed Boston at 3 a.m. their time, or no, I left my hotel at 3 a.m., got to the airport. I still have to call later because my race gear did not make the trip on my plane. So I've got to go back and get it. My one luggage made it. The other one didn't. It's SEMA week, and I'm not even sure I'm going to get to go to SEMA, but we have passes. So maybe one of these days I'm going to knock out a little early, get over there. But as you will discover later.
Why work this week? I don't feel like you have any time to actually go to work this week.
I know, but like this is one of those weeks when I have to be at work, unfortunately.
I mean, I know that's the right answer. It's just that somewhere between racing and SEMA, I feel like working there is just like
this job thing's really getting in the way of my yeah. And we would normally play Guess the Rental, but you were there.
You would sit in it. Did you sit in it, Chris?
I opened the doors. Frankly, it was kind of boring in every way. I think that's,
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. Well, people that didn't see it on socials, what did you have? How was your experience?
So I was given a Kia Niro, which is all electric, small SUV. So I drove from Boston to Concord, had a little bit of range anxiety. So I think it was Friday. It was Friday because I missed the press launch. I had to go like 12 miles up the road and plug it in for a couple of hours, which turned out to be the right answer because I returned it with 15 miles left on the charge.
Wow.
Yes. And it was in freak out mode. I've only got 15%. Find a charger. Would you like me to find a charger for you?
Did you choose it?
I went with it was renter's choice. So they offered it and I said, sure. And then he said, well, hey, would you like a Tesla? And I'm like, sure. And he goes, well, that'd be $65 more. Then no, you're not paying attention. So
renter's choice. You're like, that isn't.
I'm sorry, the other way around.
Like the company, company got to pick
choice.
it. Yeah.
Oh, I thought you meant you're like, oh, you can pick whatever you want. And then you're just like,
Mustang
for
GT,
more money.
That's always the answer. Yeah. Where's the Hellcat, the 392, the Camaro 1L? Yeah. If you're renting a car.
Or a minivan, which would have been better for your situation. Just saying.
A little bit. A little bit. Yeah.
Yep. It would have been.
Yeah. Although honestly, the Slade, kind of comfortable.
Surprising.
Yeah, as
Oh
long as you
no.
don't turn over much, because you're on that little half part of the seat.
Well, you know what?
And
He
then the
couldn't
rest
turn
of
over
it
much
goes
because
down, and
there
there's
were
stuff.
cases of claws in the back, for which you could have moved.
Surprised we
It
didn't
was
wake up in
fine.
the morning and find him there with a bunch of empties around him. Like, this is a great place to sleep.
I did end up throwing away a little bit in a glass of what do you call it, in a glass? Tequila in a glass.
Oh,
Oh,
sorry.
You left
well.
it next to your bedside.
The
Shoot.
best part about sleeping in the Escalade is, you have to get up early Saturday morning and go to the driver's meeting, or you just stay in the Escalade and you could hear it because it was right outside the truck window. So
we were
nope.
like, where the heck are you? I just didn't think that's where you were sleeping, but hey, it's okay.
So
Nobody else was
that
there.
was
It's cool.
that was my tent for this weekend for the listeners. Is I slept in the back of Chris and Chrissy's Escalade.
It's okay. We weren't sleeping there, so it's fine.
Yeah, exactly. They were sleeping in their
Mhm.
trailer. What about you guys? What are y'all up to? Where were you last week or this week?
New Hampshire.
New
Also,
Hampshire?
Well, okay, hold on. We have a pre-story there.
well, we went to Cape Cod first.
We went to Cape Cod first, yes, with the truck and trailer.
Yep, because I needed to help my dad move into the house that they're going to have for the winter, because our Cape house is not winterized and they're staying in Cape Cod for the winter. So I had to move all their stuff over and them.
But it also
We
breaks
did.
up the trip a little.
It does. I also did an oil change and tire rotation on their 21 CRV, which was, while I'm there with all of my tools, it's easy.
What's that thing have on it now? Like 7,000 miles?
It's up to
Including the
9,800 miles.
Yeah.
But now
of 6,000 of those are you driving it to and from Florida?
Yeah. Yes.
Yes. Yep, that's true. I've driven that car more than they have. Yeah. And that's stopping now. I don't make my biannual trips to Florida. So, oh well.
Yours and mine.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Well, all right. Then we traveled from the Cape to the race.
Sure. Raced.
When
drove home. We'll talk more about the race part coming up here soon.
Fine. Okay. Do we talk about just in case anybody missed my Facebook post about the adventures of your license?
Well, I thought we'd get to that the next day. That's it. Well, actually, no, we did. You're right. We realized that Thursday, I was there. I was going to the store
and it's not part of the race. It's
the liquor store near the house has great prices. So I was going to stock up. I said, "Where's my wallet?" Nope. It's still in
my turn to watch it
next to my desk
at home
at my house. So unfortunately, it was 9 o'clock in the morning on Thursday.
Every married person knows how that conversation goes, because you're in every marriage. You're either the person who's responsible for the other person's stuff, or you're the person that loses their stuff. Now, in my relationship, I'm the person that loses my stuff.
No way.
Yeah, right. Yeah, big surprise.
All of us are good now at this point of putting mental stuff in certain spots so that he will find it later.
Because otherwise it's lost.
Right.
Vicky doesn't even get off the couch. Where's my wallet? Have you looked in these 3 places? And it will be in one of those 3 places. Have you seen my phone? Have you seen my keys? All that kind of stuff. She, on the other hand, never leaves anything anywhere. So
Chris
every
is not
every long-term relationship person knows one side of that conversation.
It's not like either of us
is rare for me. Usually I'm pretty good at this.
Yeah, also, you had less of an excuse because you were home all day. So you were home and he went to the store.
More of an excuse because it disrupted his normal pattern. Had he worked that day, he would have followed his normal packing.
How did you go to the liquor store to get ice here?
My phone, the Apple Pay at the liquor store.
So you didn't hear it because I was like, you should have taken a credit card or something, and you didn't do that.
No,
okay,
because I knew I was going to the one down here that sells the Apple.
Takes Apple Pay.
Apple Pay.
Okay,
done.
Okay. Well, where did your license go?
Chrissy's sister mailed it USPS Express. The only thing we had was the PO box for the track, so that's where it went.
Did it?
Yep.
Didn't go there.
Well,
it didn't.
I did eventually end up with it. It was not where or when I expected, but
some good Samaritans.
Jen was a hero in that.
Absolutely.
Jen was a hero. Thank you, Jen. She pulled it out. She had to bring 2 small children and 2 dogs to break into our house and try to go mail it. And that was working. It was convenient.
In my criminal career, I found that if you're breaking into a house, having a small child always makes it easier.
They're less likely to believe that you're actually breaking and entering with two small children.
Especially her two boys, which are a handful. So, okay, so she mails it, and then you're looking at your phone, and it says it's delivered, but it's not delivered. We keep going, asking Mary at the front desk, and she's like, "Dude, it's not here." And then somebody calls and says, "Oh, it's here." And then I go to the front desk, and I'm like, "Oh, Mary, you have it." She was like, "No, I called him and said I don't have it." And I said, "Call Jennifer back because Jennifer says she has it." So then
I was in the hot tub and I get a call from somewhere local. I was like, well, let's see what this is. And it was,
So it was down the street.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm trying to get all of our friends.
At a tiny little post office, like annex thing. And
in the strip mall. It was half of a cutesy soap shop. Honestly, like you walk in and it's like smells like lavender. And there's a wall full of a post office. So says New Hampshire. Also, I pull up. So I take the race car because all of our friends have all of our cars, and we didn't want to disconnect the Cadillac.
I was in the hot tub with a drink in my hand already. So the safe option is Chrissy takes the race car to go down to the.
I take the race car.
I was charging up at the Tangier outlets during their trunk or treat night.
Yep.
So I go down in the race car and some lady on the sidewalk says, "Are you here for a package?" She's like, "It's in there. It's in there." So like apparently the whole town, or at least the whole strip mall knows there's crazy people looking for a tiny package somewhere in this state of New Hampshire. So I pull up and then
Biggest
she was like,
news
"Well,
we've had around these parts in a long time."
So she's like,
that woman drove up to get that boy's license in a race car.
So then she was like, "Well, you're not Chris Abbott." And I was like, "No, I'm not." And I'm like, "I can't even prove because Chris's license is in I said, "None of us have the same last name. Chris's license is in the package." I was like, "Well, I could open it and you could look at the license next to it." She was like, "Calm down. It's fine. Just forge his name." Okay, fine. So that's what I did.
Just that whole entire exacerbated conversation, that woman looked at you and said, "Oh, she's definitely married to this guy."
Yeah. Well, yes. I mean, probably like, "Oh, it's that guy." Yes. Right. So
I did say my wife is coming down to pick this up.
Yeah. Well, so that would be like the most elaborate identity theft ever.
Right? And that's what she was thinking. I think she was like going through her head, like, well, how would you have people that were calling and then all of a sudden somebody else shows up? And I'm like,
and then you make sure you show up in a completely nondescript, fully caged race car
with Majority Racing on that. Oh gosh. So yeah, so we made it. They stayed open half an hour later because we were coming to go get it. So it was a lot of additional stress that we didn't have to do. So here's note to self, friends. Make sure that you check before you pull out of your driveway that you have a license. What do you need to drive? You need a racing suit. I need a license.
You need a yellow wristband.
List is pretty short.
I say it is. You need a sticker on your helmet. You need a sticker on your car, and you need a yellow wristband. But to get that yellow wristband, you need a license.
And even the amount of sweet talking that Chris may or may not have done didn't matter. We bring your license. That's the real answer. So
make sure it's not expired too. Check that before you walk out the door.
Great idea. But just bring your license in the first place.
And that's not lemons being a pain in the butt. That's the insurance people.
Right.
Cool.
Okay, we made it. We did it. And then we unpacked today. So yeah, it's all good. And then we got home. Our trip last night was pretty nothing really happened.
Yeah, we arrived home at 12:30. That was like a new record. It was amazing.
It was great. And with a dinner stop and a gas stop. So we did pretty well. Thank goodness. Okay, let's move on.
News and notes. Hey, it's just past Halloween for you listeners, and previous guest Kyle Smith has an interesting piece about the scariest stuff in your garage. Here we go. Number one, using a spring compressor. Yep, you basically just created a bomb. Discovering rust under a paint bubble. I know that's scary. That's just like breaks you. Like
I have one that's like the C pillar of my car. Somebody stuck their whole finger right in it. Oh, did you?
Yep.
You did?
No,
blaming a racer.
No, it wasn't me.
Nope. Number 3, losing a bolt. And I'm going to modify this. I'm going to say dropping a bolt and not hearing it hit the floor.
That's the worst.
That's never a good one. Never
no,
a good one.
Especially when it's in the engine bay. It's got a lot of little crevices to hit.
You know what car was really good about hiding dropped bolts and like putting them completely out? The Mercedes. The Mercedes was
because the engine
was enormous.
It
Yes.
barely fit in the
Took up
engine
all the
bay.
room.
Yep.
Yeah.
And there's lots of plastic and lots of things
And lots of
hiding it.
shelves covered by
Yep.
large hot pieces of things.
As soon as you drop that bolt, you're like, I just close my eyes and listen. Clink, 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 bonk. Yes. It made it. Oh, well. Next one is stripping a bolt. Yeah. You keep all the threads, all your fasteners clean. Somehow a hard to reach bolt that only takes 35 pounds-feet of torque just won't tighten. It's just all of the looses. I think the feeling, actually, the worst part of that feeling is the bolt's getting tighter and tighter and tighter, and then not immediately.
And I occasionally think like, was that a me problem? Is that my hand slipped a little.
Snugging. Whoa! Oh no! And last one is burning through paint. So these are on his list. Yeah, these are pretty good.
Stuff in your garage.
In the garage, yeah, not work, not driving the car or any of that. In the garage.
Yeah. The stripping of bolt. I remember my buddies in Oklahoma were reassembling a engine for a Lemons race, and they are literally, they are doing it properly. They are torquing the head bolts in sequence, and as they go for the final torque before they warm it up and torque them again, they're go through. They've got the torque wrench on there, and right before it clicks, it just gets nice and loose.
Such a shame.
And they pull it out, and they had broken it about halfway through. So they just gobbed all of the JB weld, put the bolt back in there, and it ran like that for like 6 months, 3 more races before it finally let go. And it was the halfway through the last, it was halfway through the Sunday. And so they just pulled the injector, pulled the plug, and ran it on 3 cylinders.
Wow.
It managed to stay in front and win their class.
Wow, that's
good for them.
Impressive. Wow.
Sounded like a chainsaw the whole time.
I'm going to add the use of a Widowmaker. Hopefully nobody is, and or using a jack with no jack stands, for which we got in trouble for this weekend. Not really trouble.
No, it was a good suggestion. We were not in an unsafe location under the car or anything, but always a good idea.
But they definitely said that in the driver's meeting in the morning, and we didn't do it. So, and of course, we should be the epitome of safety and following all rules. So not doing that doesn't help us.
It's not quite as scary as these, but it is still also just like the worst sound. And Chris warned me of it potentially happening, and it didn't happen this weekend, but you've got your wheelie toolbox and you're looking for something. So you got a couple of the drawers open, and you turn away from it and hear the crashing sound of all the drawers out on your toolbox that lean it forward and send it spilling all of your wrenches and screwdrivers.
That's the saddest.
Yes.
Yeah. I'll just add one more thing to really just be frightening. Jeff's garage.
No, here, crawl through the tunnel. You'll be safe.
Right. I will say, for those that don't know, Jeff actually has a new garage, but it's in the progress of being built right now. The pole barn, the concrete is poured, the sides and roof are on. It is coming together.
Yeah.
It is actual, like, good size shoe car
beautiful,
shop in the backyard.
pole barn type.
Great.
It's going to be awesome.
He will have it filled within 3 weeks of it being completed.
Yep. All the crap.
Yep.
I don't think it's going to be within 3 weeks. What's going to happen is an elderly relative.
Oh, he already has them. No, he already has
a friend of his is going to die, and he's going to show up in their pack rat garage. You go, "Ooh, I could use this. Ooh, I could keep. Ooh, that's cool. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Just being helpful.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So car thieves suck, but gearheads rule. James Gilboy at The Drive tells us about Jake Rowe, who has been shopping for a GMC Cyclone, which it was a supercar crushing S10 variant from the 90s. Prices are usually in the $30,000 range, but he found one listed in Texas for a mere $4,200. He did his diligence, and at first, truck seemed legit, with a story of the GMC as payment for cleaning the property of an old woman, and the husband lost the title before he died. The VIN didn't come back stolen, but he bought it. When got it home, his suspicions rose again. Got the truck home and got back on Facebook and noticed the truck was listed by a different man with a different price. Roe told us. I reached out and asked how he got it, and he said the same story. The lady's name had changed. So we knew something was up. Members of the Cyclone community on Facebook helped him find the lawful owner who wasn't even where his truck was stolen. Roe was out his $4,200, but he did return the truck and is helping press charges against the scuzzy seller. If I didn't buy it, the owner would have never seen the truck again. Roe told us someone would have pulled the cab and stolen the drivetrain for double what it was listed for. I knew that if I bought it, I was okay with losing the money so someone else could have their truck back. Oh,
That's so nice.
so nice.
And there was the article goes on, but they actually raised some. They set up a GoFundMe, and some of the Cyclone people threw some money in there to help that dude out.
That's nice.
Because gearheads are good people,
right?
All right, yeah. We promised you the United Auto Worker updates as we got them. Alyssa Pride with Motor Trend, or Priddle rather, has telling us, quote, what you need to know. First, that as of the time of this recording, the coordinated strike is over as the UAW has reached a tentative deal with General Motors on top of previous agreements with Ford and Stellantis. Now, the strike started in September when the UAW began targeting random and highly profitable plants like the walkout at the Stellantis Sterling, Michigan's plant, where the Ram 1500 full-size pickup is built. And these surprise strike tactics were new within the UAW this time. Auto workers wanted shorter weeks and a piece of that highly profitable years the Big Three has seen since 2020. Now, while details of this deal specifics are unavailable, UAW President Sean Fain had rejected an offer last week that included 23% pay raises, cost of living allowances, conversion of full-time temporary workers to more permanent status, and larger contributions to retirement benefit plans. So expect any accepted offer to include all of that, as well as some of the faster elimination of the wage tiers, more paid time off, and the right to strike over plant closures.
Okay.
So when you tow 1,000 miles in 5 days, you start to think about tow vehicles a little bit. And as nice as the Escalade is, and Mental already mentioned how it was a fine place to sleep, I will say it's a wonderful car for daily driving. It actually gets better daily fuel economy and actually all around fuel economy than the CLS did, despite being a massive brick. With only 80 less horsepower, amazingly. And, you know, it's still, though, a bit of a compromise when towing because it's a 1500 chassis and it's got softer tires and all this stuff, but it's great. The power's wonderful.
He's rolling on dubs, yo.
22s. So what if you didn't want to compromise? What if you just wanted something that would just pull really well? It'd keep you comfortable doing it. And you know what? While we're doing it, why not think of also something that gives you a place to stay when you're at the track? On top of that, I want something not obnoxiously expensive, not necessarily cheap, but you know, it's the some of the stuff in the tow vehicle heavy truck world gets real big money real fast. So I found this on racingjunk.com. It's an 05 F550 Ford chassis with a Cummins engine conversion. It's a 24-valve common rail Cummins engine with a new Allison transmission. Engine has been completely redone with a very few miles, less than 10,000. Truck has about 200 on the chassis. There's an 8x8 camper with a cab over bed. There's a toilet, separate shower, sink, microwave, TV, stereo, refrigerator, jackknife couch, quote, awesome heater. Comfy
awesome
seats in the cab for going down the road. 8-foot flatbed with gooseneck and fifth wheel hitch, newer tires with low miles, bigger exhaust, ECU, blah, blah, blah. 55,000. And this thing looks pretty nice.
It
really
does. I mean,
it's got
I think you're going to need to replace the carpet.
It is in Montana, so you got to find your way out there, but that means it'll be rust free. But it's got these like quilted, like buttoned, cushy front seats that you can kind of barely see in there.
Yeah.
You know, so someone's made some effort to make this a nice place to be.
There it is.
Yeah.
Tow around.
Oh yeah. That's Barco Lounger seating.
Yeah. Which is what I want in this. Like, I'm not going to go anywhere all that quickly, but you're going to get there. You're going to pull any hill and you're going to be comfortable and have a place to stay. Seemed like it's a reasonable
nice
deal.
idea. I would like to be anywhere but the front seat of the Escalade with a full car. When I would like to take a nap or go to the bathroom or do any of the other things that I have to do in the 8 hours that I'm in the car. It's fine.
Fair enough.
Lovely, but that's fun. More fun.
All right. Things,
Okay.
proper equipment to get the tools or get the job done. Pro membership over at racingjunk.com. It's 50% off. Use code POD23. Get a bunch of cool stuff. See things like that. Sell your crap.
Or just go to Racing Junk because it's fun.
It's fun to browse.
Lemons, Mercedes Sugarland Ranch, just outside of
Is that
Houston.
what it's called?
Yeah.
Is that what MSR stands for?
It
does.
was Motorsports Ranch. No.
Oh, maybe it is now. It used to originally, I think it was.
It's Mercedes, though?
Well, because like a Mercedes dealer, I think, built it. Anyway, Houston.
Oh.
It's the Houston race.
It's just
the-
MSR.
Yeah, it's MSR. It's MSR. But here's what's going to be happening at MSR.
No, here, I give an answer for you. According to their own website, Motor Speedway Resort.
Really? You
Wow.
are so wrong.
We were
It
both
used to be
wrong.
Mercedes
Motors-
Sugarland Ranch. I
Motor
swear.
Speedway Resort.
Yeah, there you go.
Yep.
They just keep changing the name, but they won't change the initials.
Yep.
They're just gonna make it different things and stand for MSR.
Meister Super Raceway. It's all
Right? Let's just
every
make
6
it-
months.
make-
Every time somebody else
Make
buys
shit up. Okay.
it. 110 cars. That is a lot.
It's a
for
full
that
field.
track. Yes. 16 of those are BMWs. Are you paying attention? You are in Texas and there are only 16. That is less than 15% of that field is a BMW. That's the way you do it.
That's okay. Yeah.
That is
They're
exactly
still boring, but that's
and two
okay.
of them are swaps. So, all right.
All right. Good.
15 Miatas, 11 Hondas, 3 Porsches, and what fifth host Eric Rude calls, quote, high quality IOE field with a 76 Capri, an MGB GT, a Kia Spectra, a driver's education grade Lumina. They came in other flavors. All right. And multiple Camrys, Solaris, pickup trucks, AMCs, seriously, several Honda Fits, and all of the Mustangs. So that is going to be an interesting time. And if you are listening to this as you are driving down to MSR right now, let me give you a bit of fair warning. Do not show up with a weak sauce theme because the judging staff in there will hammer you.
Black is not a theme.
Silver's not a theme.
Neither is silver. So
Pearlescent, not a theme.
Mm-mm.
Nope.
That's right. You got me to deal with in Houston
dun, dun,
with the
dun.
Jeeve and
Pow,
Tom
pow.
Webb, right?
Pow, pow, pow.
None of us are really gonna give much slack for real weak sauce themes.
Yeah.
Like for
Cheaty
example,
car with
the-
a great theme. That's hilarious. Get it out of here.
Maybe.
yeah, like this past weekend in New Hampshire, there was that silver cobalt. Their theme was crudely spray painted word
That's
theme.
a theme.
on the side.
There you go.
I didn't fit. Like it was one of those like I was like them.
Oh, they started and
like,
realized they were going to run out of room, so the
They
letters got
did?
smaller. We've all been there.
That's good. That's good.
the struggle's
It is-
real.
It is the week of Halloween. On your way to the track, you will pass a Spirit Halloween store.
Oh.
Just go in there, spend $30 and get
Hey,
some
if you-
damn costume.
If you go on Wednesday or after, there's
Yeah.
things that are
That's all
probably
I'm
on
saying.
clearance, right?
Boom.
The spirit, the after Halloween discount sale, that's a theme right there. What can you find? We went
yeah,
to
literally.
Spirit today.
Hey, all right, I'm looking at some of you Texas-sized folks. All of you show up in every slutty outfit you can find. Like, all right, like sexy cafeteria lady, sexy Ebola victim, anything that begins with the word sexy, throw it on in there. You've got a theme.
Mhm.
And there's so many of them.
There's so many of them. I think it's harder to find a costume that doesn't begin or end with sexy whatever.
I think you're right.
And I'm sure in the incredible sprawl that is the Houston area, there are a number of failing strip malls that have spirits in them. So find the one that you prefer.
Yes.
Just gonna
Ah.
learn something.
Okay.
All right. Recent results.
Well, New Hampshire, we'll talk about the winners before we talk about our weekend. The winner on laps was Boston Whiners in a incredibly boring gray E46 with no theme that anyone could understand to tell. It was just a gray E46. They didn't make a whole lot of friends, but hey, they won. And actually,
I expect more from the Boston Whiners. They have
I
shown
know.
the ability to theme in the past.
They have. And I will say, I will give them congratulations with this win. They actually are the first person that's not Three Pedal Mafia, first team, not Three Pedal Mafia to win the East Coast Championship, because they took that win and we did not.
We did not. Yes.
Yeah.
Since they have started that, they've given away the East Coast Championship 12
I
times.
think
7
Chris
times
didn't
it
hear
was
this.
won. Yes. 7 times it has been won by the Three Pedal Mafia, including the twice when we were the national effing champions. Yes.
Yes. Mental asked the statistician in our lives.
I went to Eric.
For the statisticians, for the stats.
Yeah.
Now we got it.
We were wondering, like, who's going to take the free entry? I don't know. We've all done it so many times. Who's going to get it this time?
Oh,
well.
do you want to go?
Someone else can worry about that now. That's good.
Yeah. Yeah. We're not even going to sweat that free entry now.
Right.
Yeah. Class B went to the Farrell Shelbys in a 92 V8 Miata, which had all kinds of problems on that one. Just to get
that was
weekend.
a hard fought victory on the part of those. Excellent driving by everyone there, and then they still wrecked it coming off the track, which they laughed
clutch
about.
Problems.
Yeah.
they legit had clutch problems all weekend, barely were able to shift a lot of the time. And as they came off the track and were very excited about having 1B, gave the engine a few revs. And at that point, the clutch hydraulics failed and the car proceeded to lurch forward and rear end the car in front of them, blowing up their entire fiberglass nose and entire cooling system in a giant cloud of steam. It was impressive.
Right. Or it's like the way to end your B-win, finish out your weekend.
Nicky didn't enough to do for this winter, so now he's got a little more. Yeah,
he did anyway. Before that, with the other problems they were running with. All right.
Yeah.
Class C was Crapple Computers and an 87 924. I'm not real sure why this is in C. It was moving fine.
Yeah, I don't remember seeing it much.
It doesn't finish. That car has been there a few times. They've had it under a couple of those. That
sounds like a them problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you guys have done this. Sometimes you're just classing the team. You're like, yeah, you know what? This is a great car. You clowns, on the other hand.
Sometimes.
Yeah. Org choice. These were a couple kids with this car that was hopeless when it comes through tech.
I think it was only 2.
When it comes through tech at the end of the day, Friday, and we're all going like, oh, like we really want to find ways to help you guys pass. Like, all right, here's the things you need to do. And everyone's looking and trying to make the best of it. And you know what they did? They had a great attitude all weekend. They kept going, they kept pushing. And somehow they managed to get this thing to be not tragically slow over that whole time.
When it ran.
Yeah. They also by Sunday it was running better than when it showed up on Friday.
Yeah. And they also didn't even bring enough fuel to last them toward the end of the race because they didn't think they'd run that long. And this is a 79 Triumph Spitfire 1500. It was a long time ago ITC car, and it was surprisingly rust-free and looked great. So good for them having it out there.
Yeah. I love that car raced at SCCA without complete welds on their floor plates for decades, probably.
That was one of 4 cars that Bruce welded to pass tech this weekend.
Bruce had so much beer and Mountain Dew and drinks. Everybody brought it.
There are people that didn't bring. If Bruce did work for you and you didn't, he was like, one team, I did all this work and they said, we'll be back. And they never came back. He was a little hurt about that one. But yes, so he did a lot. He dumped his whole garage, whole trailer full of stuff to help. He had like lines of people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the Baja came by. I'm pretty sure the 924.
Yeah, that's where he got all the Mountain Dew was the Baja. The Baja was there. The red 924.
Red 924. Mm-hmm. There are the 3 that I remember. I'm sure he helped the truck next to them. They were working a lot this weekend. So yeah, he helped a lot of people.
That's Bruce, though. He'll complain a little bit about it, but he's got to help everybody.
Yeah.
Right.
All right. Judge's choice was the Vermonsters. They were in an Audi A4. They were cancer survivors. They'd done the car up like that. It wasn't a tragic car, but apparently after they had a couple of the come to the judges meeting, they got it and were driving a lot better on that one. The Yokohama Road Mangler Cup was Fast Squatch and their 98 Honda Civic, and the heroic fix was the Brooklyn Bomb Squad in that 83 first gen Rabbit. I believe, is it a Rabbit or is it GTI? I want to say it was a GTI.
It wasn't a first gen.
Who knows at that point? Yeah, it was. It's a Mark 1.
Oh,
It was a Mark 1.
Yeah, I only know
the other one was at 69 red second gen Mark 2.
Yeah, the Mark 1 there, I definitely saw that after leaving the scene of the wall, driving back to the paddock with about 180 degrees of steering input necessary in order to crab walk that thing back into the garage.
And was that Saturday?
Yeah, that was Sunday, I think. And
I feel
maybe
like
it was
I
Saturday.
saw them out on Sunday.
Maybe it was
Because I don't remember seeing them on Saturday.
They fixed everything in the car with a giant hammer.
Well, it was,
and they got it back
yes.
on track.
Right?
They,
And it was a
they
heroic
beat
fix.
the car back into shape. They physically, and that's not the first time I had to do that. I remember at Pitt a couple of years ago, they were doing the old 2 truck trick to straighten it, something on it.
Oh, that's sometimes necessary. Yep. Leave it at that.
Okay, regional went to Big Chowder Energy, which was the cosmonauts in their 1988 M2 MR2. They've been around for a really long time. I think they just stayed clean, and I think they usually bring a pretty good party. I'm pretty sure my friend Edmund is on that team, and he didn't bring any meat. And I said hello. He's like, I brought you nothing, and I was like, you always bring me stuff, and I always go put it right in my paddock. It's very sad. HMG went to Douchebag Racing and their 2002 Volkswagen Jetta TDI. Does anybody have a picture? I saw of it. I saw one on Facebook, but then I lost it. So
that was probably one of the best efforts I have seen.
I have one,
with the exception of the Suede Denim Police for a Halloween Meets Gasoline. They were committed.
Yeah, so they did a Boston Tea Party theme. They
hold
had
on.
Revolutionary War outfits.
Pictures.
They had a drummer. Well, this is an audio show primarily. So
oh, that's right. Okay.
Right? Oh, that's right. They had that awesome pit vehicle, which looked like a
They had
a 50s replica of a 1901 Oldsmobile. They had a drummer who was actually he clearly had been a drummer at some point. He did a good job.
A lot of cans on this,
right? Yeah, they covered.
They had all their muskets. Yeah,
with the drunken with the fallen soldiers of beer cans from the night before. They had dumped tea in a bucket of water that was labeled Boston Harbor.
I love Boston Harbor.
Their race car said "tea sucks" on the back of it.
Yeah.
Made me chuckle every time we passed
them. They had a lot of fun. They never were out of costume. They did a great job.
Yeah, one guy, he actually went through like all the founding fathers. He was Ben Franklin at the potluck. He was George Washington at the award ceremony.
I didn't see that.
Was rotating through all of them.
Yeah. They were great. And they made sure like they'd carry their guns everywhere. And then they would have to make sure like when they walked into the garage, they'd watch out for each other and make sure that their bayonets didn't hit the garage doors. And no, they were great. And they were in good, really good costumes. And yeah, they were hilarious. And the winner of IOE went to Cheesebolt Enterprises. The awesome people at Cheesebolt, they had a Ford Tempo, the T-Drive, and I'm going to hand it to you guys to explain what that is.
It was basically, I think Greg did this just because to see if he could, I think primarily it was 2 Suzuki 1200cc inline 4 air-cooled motorcycle engines sticking up through the hood of a Ford Tempo. It was longitudinal, side to side, and then there was a series of chains and shafts, which is not just a good Saturday night, it's also how this put the power to the ground, and I cannot actually describe it to you adequately. You just needed to see it and hear Greg describe it to understand it. But they did a fantastic presentation too about the unveiling for the Ford Motor Company T-Drive, and they had shrimp and charcuterie.
A charcuterie.
Yep, they did have a charcuterie. Yep, and they had loudspeaker announcements, and that was great. And there were a grand total of I think 5 people at the unveiling. So, but we all wrote down on the hood how many laps we think this thing's going to make, because it is outstanding. No one picked 164, not even close.
No.
Even the people that if you picked more than 50 are like, what are you, drunk? And
even the ones that built it did not pick
They'd send it out for like 2 laps, 3 laps, and check it, lube it. All right, well, go back out, and then they keep doing that and do a little more and a little more, and
They lost one motor, they lost a chain, they used everything they had as lube. They just kept
Mayonnaise.
going. They're like, I don't know why this is working. And that's why, like, Greg came over on Sunday. He's like, I'm not really sure. And like, it came in, we're just like, well, it's getting kind of hot, so just let it cool for a while. It's the only car that they brought, and apparently this one had won IOE before, and
this is the first car in Lemon's history.
Not true, but okay.
No, who else
no.
is under the same ownership? A car, which okay,
the boat.
The boat.
I didn't know the boat got 2 IOEs.
Well, the second one was a joint IOE with a TR, because the boat and TR at New Hampshire came in 17th and 20th overall, both of them. And which was kind of outstanding that those two could do that. So we got the IOE for the boat and TR together.
Fair enough.
Yep.
So, but that's okay. We'd like to highlight that, because in theory it's impossible. So nobody else does it, and you probably
But this car deserved it when it was
totally
a stock tempo deserved the IOE.
Yeah.
This,
if you've got an IOE laps, car,
deserves
throw a stupid engine in it. Not stupid powerful, just stupid.
Not even.
Just put a dumb engine in it
and make it run.
That blocks your sideline, and then finish a weekend, because it drove off the track on Sunday.
This thing was brilliant. They did a phenomenal job in not just the building of it, but the having fun with the presenting it and just keeping it going all weekend. They did a great job.
They also stayed in costume all weekend.
They usually
some
do.
of it.
Yeah.
We may talk to. Maybe we'll talk to them.
Absolutely, yes. I do hope we can make that happen on there, because they're fantastic people, and that's just great. And they had something that was fast, and they just quit racing it and started doing tempos.
Yeah, they've got a bunch of other projects in the works too. This is just the one that's there now, which is great.
Awesome.
Yep.
Oh,
okay. Listen to feedback time.
So our guest Rafi Ward messages to say, in the last episode where the person pointed out I could have turned my hearse into a tow vehicle, I have a 1996 Cadillac Fleetwood-based Crystal Coach, spelled with a K, because that's classy. Crystal Coach with a fiberglass body from the passenger door rearward and a ladder frame in the middle for rigidity, and I didn't feel comfortable towing with it. Maybe my next hearse, I'll make it more tow-able and hopefully metal-bodied one. So that's why he's not using that hearse. And actually, after that explanation, I think it's smarter to drive your race car to the track anyway.
Yeah. A lot of those really are pretty sketchy when they extend them.
Yeah, because they're designed to do 20.
Yeah. And the payload is a couple 100 pounds at most. That's it. Oh, well. Our announcement of the Cheese Bolt Enterprises press event at New Hampshire, Ashley D said, look at that hair mental. I knew you were donating a hair, but now the Jesus look is totally gone. Yes, and there was a number of people that actually didn't recognize mental at first look, and then would be surprised when they finally did. Once he spoke, that was that. Really. DJ 914 said, nice. You have the in. I was lucky to see this amazing tech during early prototyping, and I expect this to be the next Mustang. Brian M said the T-Drive was awesome. Who wouldn't want a straight 8? Right?
It is awesome. All right. Well, we'll be getting to this in a little bit. We had a failure on the 3, and when we start talking about it later, this will make a little bit more sense if you didn't hear what happened to us. Bill F said 3-wheel steer is a new thing. Elvis R said the problem has no bearing on the subject of steering. Oh man, dad jokes. Matt F said almost drove the wheel off it, and Joan P said auto steering, nice feature.
Now we also, unfortunately, Sunday Betty had a failure. And Randy Bitch said, I can't wait to see this episode of This Old Car, which is, if you're not following the Garage Heroes on the gram, they have an entire series that they were doing at New Hampshire on that one. Sasha pointed out, quote, as unfortunate as it is, clearly it is going fast enough to shear suspension bolts. That's not a bad place to be. They were coming off a 3-win streak, but Bruce will argue that they had some help after some minor contact with shearing that bolt. And Matt F said, that piece doesn't look cheaty at all. Well, clearly it wasn't. It broke.
Yep. We got a technical question on our webpage contact from a listener. Amazing. Will
Oh.
asked, heard it in a podcast a while back, but don't recall. Is there a particular cooling shirt that you'd recommend over another? Over the winter, I'm planning to fit the car with a 12-volt Ryobi cooler and circulate coolant rather than ice/water. It's my compromise to the team instead of going with a 4,000 plug-and-play system. As far as shirts go, I quite liked the Fast brand shirts that I've had because they have, well, they all have pluses and minuses. I'll put it this way. The Fast one is nice because it has tubes that go like down over the arms a bit, and it gives you, and then there's more tubing density than the Cool shirts. And the Cool shirts that I've dealt with have recently in our system had some problems with flow issues, and Chrissy's leaked for a while. I had to repair it with epoxy.
It was like when it was like fairly new.
Yeah.
I think it was a failure because as soon as I called them, they're like, "Oh yeah, if it has the triangle block at the very end, that's where the connection goes to." Yeah, we've been having problems with that. So
they sent you another one, and that one failed too, and that's the one
Correct.
I epoxied back together.
Correct.
Which the epoxy has held very nicely.
Correct.
But and the rest of the shirt is holding up well, where the rest of my Fast shirt is not holding up so well.
Correct.
So I'm kind of in the middle ground on both of those. I'm like, not too sure. Mental, what do you think?
I only have the one Cool shirt that I bought eons ago after our I'm not going to say failed, but learning experience with trying to make our own, and then we just bought the
Correct.
and the ones that Chris made worked. Actually,
I didn't
your
make
mom
them.
had a hand in it.
No.
Okay,
I did not
I
make
made them.
Okay.
Chris
The
was
ones that
racing.
Chrissy-
I had
the
a
one that
sweatshop
Chrissy-
happening at my house.
Chrissy made. They worked so well. We all went and bought actual good ones because
It's like the
worked even
gateway.
better. Yeah. And mine is until this weekend, I've never had a problem with it. It is probably well on its way to being done because it's a little crunchy in places. But it still works well. And that mine was an actual Cool shirt, but like the one we were just showing on the Carbon X one from the Fast company, it doesn't have nearly the density of lines you're seeing in the new stuff. And I think that is definitely something to consider. But there's something about actually like the connectors. You don't want to mix and match those connectors. And I think Chris can talk smarter to that.
I don't know for sure, but I know that it's the Cool shirt female ones don't fit anything else, but the Cool shirt male ends fit in the other female ones. So you just got to be careful with that. We end up with all of our stuff at McMaster Car, and we've never had a flow problem until recently. And it seems to be worse with the Cool shirt ones than the non-Cool shirt ones.
Yeah.
So,
but let's throw this
we have
out
totally
here.
not answered Will's question.
No, we have not answered Will's question. So I am going to start to so yeah, get the I would say get the Cool shirt and get the one with the densest wires in there. The 12-volt Ryobi cooler using coolant, you can't do that. You are actually not allowed. The reason they say don't put coolant in the radiator is not because they don't want the radiator to be cool, but because if it ruptures and spills on the track, antifreeze loses any and all traction. So you make a slick spot as opposed to water that even in cold weather will evaporate. So you cannot use coolant, and any track day organization and any racing organization is going to tell you no. Furthermore, it's caustic, which means that it is actually will eat at connections. It will tear things up. It is really bad for you. Just use water, man. You're not gonna make it better with coolant.
I'm
Water
interested to
and
hear
ice.
about how you might consider actually doing this, because the amount of see if it works, but the amount of electricity it takes to create enough cooling capacity. I mean, you'd basically be running an air conditioner, essentially, is what you're doing. Do you have enough voltage to run amperage? Actually, it's amperage to run a 12-volt motor to provide that much cooling capacity, because we can go through, the human body's an amazing heater. We burn through a big solid block of ice in 2 hours in our system easily. That's a tremendous amount of energy.
Mm-hmm.
So before you go spending too much on this, also not the 4,000 plug-and-play system, that's also a little crazy. Consider there's a reason everyone uses ice and water. Consider making an efficient way of using that maybe we haven't thought of.
The hella shitty guys have their replacement BMW because their E30 is just It has given everything it possibly could. So they've got a new E36 hatchback. They left the engine and the suspension bone stock, and they found a way to run an actual refrigerator. And they have their water circuit. It is in the center of their tire well. Me, Corey, and Jim saw it at Button Willow. I'm not going to say it's smart. I'm going to say because they probably had an old fridge and they're all really, really smart and they understand how all this stuff works. So they came up with this very elegant solution of using an old refrigerator. But it does make me start thinking about, like, when my refrigerator kicks on, my lights flicker at this house. So I don't know how efficient that is, but they were using water, not coolant.
Yeah. Chris Egan in Northeast he took a small window air conditioner unit, basically stuck it in the side of a cooler and rigged a pump and some ports to it, and would bring it to the track at like Thompson, for example, and it had 4 different ports in it, and the air conditioning unit would chill the water down into the 30s, and it was amazing. Like before or after your shift, you'd go plug into Chris's cooler, and it was great. And he had a nice set of long insulated hoses, so he'd wear it on like hot days in the garage, just walking around doing work. It was a great idea.
You can find good coolers like Yeti knockoffs on Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, and stuff like that are small enough to fit in there. And I think anybody can show you how to wire up an internal or external pump. I'm pretty sure Cool Shirt and Fast sell the build your own cooler kits for not that much money with the pumps and the hoses.
Yeah. Well, either way, Will, do something weird. Show us. Curious to see what happens if it works. And if it works really well, that's fantastic.
Just don't use coolant. Use water, man.
Yep. Okay.
Discussion.
Yeah,
can make a whole show out of it.
And thanks for the question on that one, Will. Yeah. All right. And if we miss something, if you guys are yelling at your radio right now, why doesn't Mental know this? Well, it's because I'm stupid. But go ahead, get a hold of us. You got all the contact information. Contact us through our podcast page. They'll get it to us.
Or if, at the end of every show, we say all those different things and ways you can do that.
Just indeed.
Saying. Okay.
All right.
Ready?
Yeah.
It's the Harrowing Halloween Hooptiefest Hangover.
Okay.
All right.
Sure.
Yep.
So you guys had to stop in the cave on the way. And
Correct.
then you guys were there like early Thursday. I had every intention of
6
being
o'clock.
there. Yeah. Which Thursday, come on, 6 o'clock Thursday. I had every intention of being there at 7 o'clock, but as fate would have it, at 7:30, I'm still at the line at 50 car rental in Boston at the airport. They sent me a survey, by the way. How was your experience?
Oh, why? Well, they should just forget to do that. 'Cause I don't think that's a really great.
Luckily, I had pictures to illustrate my point.
Yes, you did. You showed your friends and you said, "Oh,
And
look how
I
great
sent
this
those-
actually is."
And I sent those to Thrifty. The staff at Thrifty was great. Whoever handles their scheduling is a baffling moron who somehow looked at enough reservations and decided 2 poor guys were enough to run the counter, and like 1 poor dude was enough to hand out all the cars. So it was about an hour and 30 minutes standing in line just to get to the counter, and then another 30 to 45 minutes to get my car.
That's crazy.
And
What's
then
astounding is that there's a better way to do all of this that involves fewer actual people, but just some decent technology, and other rental car companies are doing it.
Other rental car companies that own Thrifty that have this technology. Yeah. But the reason I go there, so we all got in on Thursday, and sometimes there's the test day, and we talked about the test day. It wasn't going to be that much, but why? And I'm not questioning it, but I feel like this is just, another data point for our listeners. Why did we not test on Friday?
Because Chris didn't have a license. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Well, this time we didn't test because we didn't have anything to test. Like the car was sorted as it could be. I'd driven it around in the street because it's a street legal-ish car. It is registered and insured. So I've driven it around a bunch and it was fine. We've all driven New Hampshire lots of times. So we're all pretty comfortable with the track. And like we hadn't done anything new to the car at all. And so it's just like, well, it's in good condition. Everything's fine. Let's just not break anything.
And in some cases, I feel like that can induce some anxiety. But I was so relaxed Friday. We slept in. We walked around, said hi to all our
We had
friends.
made a nice
everybody
breakfast. We
unloading.
had breakfast
Yeah,
sandwiches and
Oh,
hash
breakfast
browns. And,
sandwiches.
God,
right.
we lived.
I worked
we
for a
lived
while
large.
because we're
Yeah.
just sitting.
Yeah.
And it was
We
so we didn't
worked
talk
on
about the
Towley
weather.
because we didn't have anything else that we were doing.
The
Yeah,
weather
yeah,
was
yeah.
lovely.
I think
We were in
was.
t-shirts until Sunday.
Yeah,
It was great.
I think we started. I think we, right after we BS inspect, we started drinking because we weren't driving.
It was lovely.
It was
We
an easy
had-
day. Yeah, I was in the hot
yeah.
tub by 4:00. It's like, well, what else am I doing?
Right. That's when I got in the race car to go down the street. That's the first time I was in the race car this weekend. You're just, okay, this is what
So-
it's like.
So yes, testing is a good thing, but there are the two schools of thought of testing is just you accelerating the eventual failure of your car. And then other people are like, no, you have to test, you have to go out. Everyone has to, how to do all this. But yeah,
If
I
we had
think
someone
think
who-
our lap times, our performance, even the one bungled pit stop that was 4 minutes and 3 seconds because I was out of practice.
Oh, I don't remember the timing.
It wasn't that long, but I do remember getting fussed at.
I did fuss
Well,
at you.
Yeah. when the radio didn't have a plug.
You didn't
and-
put your cool suit
Cool
in,
box in, and-
right? Yep.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
And then you were like, "Why isn't the car start? Because the kill switch isn't on, friend." So there are a couple of things you just help a little bit when you're trying to
Yep.
race. That's
But-
okay. We learned.
If we had done anything significantly new to the car, or we couldn't drive it on the street, this would have been a good, fine time to go testing. If we had a new set of tires to scrub in, great. If we had someone who'd never been on that track before, wonderful. If we had
Nope.
someone who
Yes,
hadn't
we
driven
absolutely
much
would have
in
done that.
general. Yes. All these are great reasons to test. We had literally none of them. And it was rare that we don't test. Usually the only times we don't test is at Pittsburgh because their test day is asinine. Occasionally it's Jersey because theirs has gotten stupid expensive. We always test at Thompson, even if we don't have any of those things, just because it's really cheap and easy, and we want to kind of support that they do it right. So
Yeah.
This time, no
that's
reason.
not testing. Did we get any feedback on how their testing day went? Because again, that one's run by the track, wasn't run by Lemons.
I didn't hear anybody complaining
I
about
didn't
it.
hear it. Yeah, I didn't hear anything about it.
All right,
Yeah.
Nope. I think it
Very
was
good.
fine.
Yeah.
There weren't that many cars out, but I think I think it was fine.
I think it was $50 a driver.
Well, it's $150 for the car and one driver. Each
Okay.
additional driver is $50.
Yeah.
At least that's the way it has been historically in the past. So
All right.
anyway,
So
we
So
didn't test.
We didn't test. We drank a lot, stayed up way too late.
Well, Friday we
No,
went to
no,
BS. We themed.
We, not the three of us.
Thursday night. Some people in our team, they're not on this show right now. We're up
Yeah, I was
until
like,
I
it
think
wasn't me.
3 a.m. I think they said.
Yeah, they
So-
were because when I went to bed at 3:30, they'd finally left. No, I
Okay,
left
good.
them. I left them at 3. They were still in the garage. Yeah,
Okay.
that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. That was Thursday. Yeah.
Yeah, Chrissy and I went to bed a lot before then.
It
Friday,
was like midnight, but it was still yes.
Friday we went through BS. We did our penalty or our BS presentation.
What
Our
was
theme
our-
this time was condiments, which argue. So we had a bunch of costumes of condiments.
Oh, I
was
love mayo.
mustard or
It's so
barbecue sauce
good.
or Chrissy
Salt.
was
You were-
mayonnaise predominantly.
You were salsa
Mayo.
too. I had
God, mayo.
I
I
know.
I did barbecue for a little while.
Yeah, mental was. you were- what were
Everybody
you, Mental?
decided that beer was too hot. So even in New Hampshire.
Yes,
What?
yes. I say, yeah, I think also Friday, Chris and I were disappointed in the amount of festivities going on. I think everyone went to bed good and early. So Chris and I were up until a good bit late, and there may or may not have been several instances that showed up on the gram of us in other empty garages with marital aids.
It was I know it was
Way less exciting.
Go
than
ahead.
it sounds. Yeah, the
Yeah.
Garagers enjoyed their new radio mount the next day and drove with it in the car all day. It's great.
Yeah. Mm.
Until I needed said
We need it
object
back. We need it back.
Yeah, I did. missed it. I was very
I know.
sad.
Everyone missed it.
Yes. So
All
them
right,
them
Saturday
two stayed up.
morning. Or no, are we?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Are we jumping? Am I jumping ahead?
Oh yeah, no.
Yeah,
So them
good.
two stayed up, and I went to bed early, so it was good. And I knew I was going to start, so I went to bed early, and I don't usually get to sleep in, so I usually I took the time to go to bed early, and was great. Got up, had quick breakfast, driver's meeting, normal stuff.
Yep.
Yes,
We were doing 3
Yep.
shifts. So 2 stops, 3 shifts. Each day was 7 hours,
Mhm.
and we had enough fuel to do that pretty comfortably with just 3 drivers. So we did. So Chrissy, first day was Chrissy, Mental, me. Second day, the plan was Mental, Chrissy, me. We changed that up a bit, but Friday, Chrissy started. How was your starting of shift, Chrissy?
it was great. Really good. There are haters of starting, but I really enjoy just knifing through traffic. It's kind of like a challenge. It's fun to be on track with other people, and it's kind of a, how do I get around people? And you have these times where the people slow you up. But I didn't have as much traffic and didn't have as much, like, there are yellows, but nothing abnormal, especially with 123 cars on track. You figure that it would be more, I would have had more yellows, but the first 25 minutes I didn't breathe. I didn't check gauges. I didn't get a drink. I was on for the first 25 minutes. And so finally, I'm sure we slowed down a little bit.
I think you moved us from 63rd to 17th in that period of time.
Yeah, no, I mean, it was good. I had a good time. There were 5 cars, and I think all of us admitted there are about 5, maybe 5 cars that we either let past or didn't really pass. But everybody else was passable. It was, just get around people, and that went well. So the one issue that I did have is that I coming into turn 1 was kind of on the down low, closer to the apex. There was another car that was pretty high up, and I did not expect for them to come down into the apex. They came into me, hit my front corner. I had a tank slapper, turned all the way around to where I'm facing up the hill at traffic. Very, very fortunately, no one was there. Nobody hit me. I was able to turn around. I kind of drove straight and then, onto the oval a little bit, and then kind of over the corner of grass. Came right in, got black flagged, told the team, but I did not spin. I came in because they caught me as spinning. That was just an actual controlled stop from being hit. So I came in. The other car that was already there the car that hit me was already in the penalty box. And I said, those are the people that hit me. And so normally you come into the penalty box and say, I had contact. I'm sure it was my fault. I did not believe it was my fault. Very fortunately, my team had already gone into the penalty box, talked to everybody, and the other people admitted that they already hit me. So fortunately, I got talking to Brett and said, I spun. I did not mean to spin. I did not spin because I ran out of talent. I got spin because I got hit. He was like, okay, see you later. So that was good, but it still took us off track. So that was unfortunate. And I think that was about it for my stint. My stint was good. I had a good time.
You went long too. You went almost 3 hours.
I did. Yeah.
Because we had the fuel to do it, and everything else was going well.
Yeah.
So I'm longer. So we have more options.
I'm always good on fuel. So I had a good time, and car felt easy to drive, and it was a little warm. We didn't bring cool shirts. We brought the boxes, but no shirts. Chris and I, and then Mental Mental did have a shirt. He brought the shirt and the box, and yeah, it was good. I had a good time. Felt good when I got out.
Yep. And we did our shift. We had that aforementioned, not our best pit stop, but got Mental in the car. Mental, how was your shift? Midday Saturday.
Yeah, it had been a while since I drove the Mazda, and there's some very slight tweaks that you've made. And you told me repeatedly that it is now the easiest race car to drive. And I have found no fault with that statement. The car is very comfortable. It's easy to drive. It's not taxing. You're not going to pass everybody, but you're going to pass most people, and it rewards smoothness, which is something that I've really been working on. I got all of the yellow flags All the ones that Chrissy didn't get during her 3 hours, they all showed up in mine. And that's not me complaining. But when it was time for me to get out of the car, I think I'd burned not even half a tank. And I've been in the car for 2.5 hours. And I warned you, I'm like, it's not going to take all this fuel. And yeah,
And
like
we
the
found out.
second jug, it splashed back. But during the course of that, during one of the yellow flags, I'm coming up over the hill past the black flag station, and they had a skull and crossbone black flag, and she held it up like that and then leveled it right at me. And I even took my hand, put it outside the window, and pointed at me through the windshield. And she nodded her head in the affirmative. And I'm thinking, well, I clearly missed one of the yellow flags and probably passed under yellow. I pull into the pits. I get to meet Judge Brett, who had threatened me earlier that if I got a black flag, I had to eat mayonnaise.
It was Janice that threatened you that earlier.
I think all of them did.
Yeah.
And
But I think they came up with it too, because you
Yeah.
obviously despise
mayonnaise. Mayonnaise is so gross. It's the worst.
It's so creamy though.
You and I are saying the same thing. We're just taking a completely different approach on that. So
It's
even
so
not
good.
even why are you here? Tell me what happened. Track map, show me where the bad man touched you. Nope. Brett walks over and hands me a pack of mayonnaise. And
Still
then,
stuff it under your helmet like a
Which-
goo.
which I did. And even so, as I choked down the mayo, he's like, "Why are you here?" And I go, I guess I passed under yellow. I'm not entirely sure." They go, "Well, did they have your number on the board?" I go, "No," but she pointed the flag at me, and he goes, "Well, we got nothing on you. I don't know why you're here." Thanks, Brett. Could have had that conversation before I had creamy warm mayonnaise in me for another 2 hours, which I think he did on purpose.
Yep.
And you didn't need to come in. It was very nice of you to self-report.
Oh, no,
but
I didn't
we could talk.
self-report. I was pointed at. They were like,
The number I was pointed out with a number because I spun and they saw me and it was slow. And so they said, "Here's the number 41." It was even before I got didn't even go around. They gave me a number.
Yeah.
I knew it was me. I said, "That's me. Got it. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yep.
Okay, good.
So
Not so much.
So back out I went. I think up until that point, we were in second in class until I came in. And
I think so.
Yeah.
I
Yep,
want to
we were.
say I handed the car back off in second
I
in
think so.
class. And I think we were consistently running between 17th and 15th with the other. There were at the time, by middle of the day, B class had settled down to about 3 cars. It was us, the Haterade Boston Whiners 318, and the Farrell Shelbys and the 289 Swap Miata. Every one of those people on both those teams, they were driving well.
Yeah.
They were. Yeah.
So then it was my turn. I went out, was there for 2 hours. The car was perfectly fine. Everything else is perfectly fine. Just
Your
kept
only
driving.
Your only complaint was that Mental put your water bottle in upside down, so then you couldn't drink
Mhm.
it. That was your only
That
complaint.
was it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I was a little
It was
thirsty,
hot.
a little hot,
Hmm.
but that was it. I brought the car in, I think 12th at the end of the day, which was
Yeah, I think so, because they Farrell Shelby's might have been right in front of us. They
Yeah.
didn't make top 10, so we were.
Yep. I passed Farrell Shelby's at the end of the day to get another lap back, so we were only 1 lap down on them when the day ended, which was nice for class.
Hmm.
So it's Saturday night. I looked
Excuse
over
me.
the mental and I looked over the car thoroughly. We did an alignment on it because of the contact that Chrissy had in the right front wheel had definitely made the alignment just a smidge off from what it had been before. So we fixed that. That was not a big deal. Everything else looked fine. Car used no oil, rotated the tires. Everything else looked great. Put it all back together, clean the glass, go to the potluck.
Potluck. Yeah, potluck turned out really well. We had just enough people. We had just enough food. It worked out really well. So, except for the people that are.
Tell who knows how to do a potluck and who doesn't, because everyone would show up. look at you, me or Chris,
Yeah.
with their dish in their hand and go wherever we pointed the dish, and then go on the other side of the gate and patiently wait until it was time. And you had about 6 people that would just walk through and start trying to finger food. And Chris and I would go, "Are you trying to get us murdered? Stop touching food. Stop touching food." And then if Chrissy saw them, we told them. I don't know what the hell they were doing.
That literally was like, well, it was like 6:32. And we started because we got off track at 5:00. So we didn't eat. So 6:30 was drop off, 7:00 eating. And I was pretty clear on that. Aaron made announcements. So we talked about it. Everybody knew what that was. So at 6:32, so people had started bringing food, but there wasn't much. 6:32, 2 or 3 people say, well, we're just going to eat. And I was like, I'm sorry, you still have a half an hour, not till 7:00. And they were like, no, you said 6:30. And I said, no, I didn't. So everybody just stood fantastically. We put a gate up. And so everybody had to sit on the other side of the gate and wait till that was their time. And then I let all the judges and all of the staff and my team go because that's how it works.
But
so
to your credit, by forcing everyone to wait till 7, there were 5 tables full of food.
Correct. Because it's dumb when everybody takes the whole.
We do this.
And then I make sure that everybody knows. And then now they have no excuse that, oh, I was fixing my broken car, so I didn't have time, because we end at 5:00. You have plenty of time to make your food. So for the most part, we had enough of everything. I really think we had the appropriate amount of salads. Not one potato salad on that table. Have to say, you guys are awesome. I'm so happy.
Actually, there were some really like good home creative stuff. Who was the the tomato and the mozzarella?
A caprese layered caprese salad.
That was so good. Lots of great
delicious
homemade desserts.
Yeah.
So many. The homemade beef jerky, like the one he made it so spicy he couldn't eat it himself, but that was fantastic.
And everybody, and you knew when people tried to eat it. I think I caught Chris when he ate it, and he was like crying. It was that spicy. That was James McGuire. Yeah, right.
Yeah, the rest of us were like, "This is fantastic." I know she had better plans for it, but they were also trying to travel. But there was like 4 trays of fried chicken.
Yep. Yeah, so we had a really good array, like a good bunch of different chilies, a couple gluten-free options, which is wonderful for us glutenoids.
Barbecue jackfruit, vegan barbecue sandwiches.
Yeah, so really interesting stuff, right? Just the right amount of food, still food left. And what I have to say is that if you have food or you're running late, still bring it over, because somebody brought very late a whole bunch of buffalo chicken sandwiches, I think they were.
Yeah,
you guys were eating them. I don't.
But they were
right,
they're late, but people keep coming.
And that's why I'm saying, like, when people bring food late, there are stragglers that say, oh, I was working on my car and I didn't know if you'd have any food left over. There are people that come late to eat. And then so your food is always appreciated. So no matter what hour, unless we're like literally tearing down, then we bring it over.
Like some people, they always make a light pass because they don't want to go hog wild, knowing that there's a bunch of people behind them. And I think that's what happened. And then, there are people of larger appetites and some people who literally haven't eaten all day because they don't take care of themselves at the track. And then they realize they're starving. And that's when those chicken sandwiches, and it looked like they were just like, home, like something that somebody had bought at a store, but apparently no, they had cooked that chicken and then put it on those buns.
It looked like
pretty good.
Legit. I didn't try any, and then there was like a pile of fries. So it was nice that people brought stuff. So that's my message to the potluck. It was great turnout. Thank you so much for participating.
There's a lot to be said about the agro drivers of the Northeast, but you cannot question their potluck game. It's pretty solid.
I did. You didn't see Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh was I had 3 tables of dessert and 1 thing of pulled pork. So I was like, just hold off on that dessert, please.
But we've had since then a good balanced amount. Like dessert.
Yep.
And Adam Owens, from the Boston Winders, a Haterade team, he hosted that trivia night years ago, and he is now like fully addicted to lemons. Went on a diet and lost a bunch of weight so he could race. He came over with a storage case, not like a cooler, but a giant one of those things you keep your Halloween decorations, tote, full of claws and beer, which was awesome. So thank you, Adam.
Yep. Absolutely.
Right? It was awesome. Potluck. Yeah. So it was wonderful. Thank you.
And we had a lot of people hanging out in our garage for a long time, just having
we did.
Just relaxing.
Met a bunch of kids
laughing evening
that are now totally dedicated and into this. So it was good.
We definitely met
kids.
some,
college kids.
Some Hoopties fans, definitely would be from the movie.
Yes. Yes.
Oh,
Funded us, which is great.
throw the Marmalade onto the to the trampoline to the hot tub went over really well. We played that for a good while. So that
if you find yourself bouncing the dong into the hot tub, and I kept trying to tell those kids this, it's not a game of force. Slinging dong is finesse. And yeah, the old people were getting it, but the young guys, they were still trying to do it, through brute force. It wasn't working.
I have to laugh that everybody steps up to the plate and thinks they are going to do it well, and they are amazed at how poor their first 4 shots go. It happens, especially since I'm usually the barker. It happens every time, and everybody is amazed at how poorly it goes. So it's a good time. I was like, no, I'm like, try again, and they're like, no, this is I know, and I'm like, just keep trying.
And then we had a news reporter on Saturday too, so we all made the.
Oh yeah. You did. I'm freaking standing next to you in a Mayo costume, and they apparently whatever I said wasn't very good, but Mental made the news
because you were wearing a Mayo costume, and everyone knows Mayo is the worst. Actually, we will. That link did go onto our Facebook page, so you can find that on there.
Oh, okay.
The local Channel 9. So you check out Everyone Racers on Facebook, and the link to that article is also on there. Jeremy was also in that on that one. He has the ombre now. Yeah, so it was a good time.
Yeah,
cool.
So and the weather was nice too. So it wasn't too cold, and at the time wasn't raining, so it was lovely. Okay, Sunday. We started a little earlier.
Sunday was a very different change in weather. Instead of being 70-something degrees and beautiful, it was cold.
They remembered it was New Hampshire in the fall, and
it was windy. It was it was cold, and it wasn't even like the coldest it's ever been. But the stark change of literally wearing a t-shirt and being hot in the race car, going to, I think I need the underlayer in my race suit now because it was that cold. Yeah, you did that.
I went from cool shirt to Carbon X. Yeah.
Yep. All right, you started.
I did. I started.
Oh, hold on. Also, Betty. We should talk about Betty. Betty was in, right?
Yes.
Like, let's
Betty,
just before we
Betty
move on.
came out of the gate ready to defend her 3-race title
with laps.
We got 3 laps. 3 laps to start with, and they gradually worked their way up, and they were second overall in the morning. Or at the end of the day, Saturday, first to start on Sunday. So they had their plan. They were going to run their usual 3 shifts. They were ready to go. Car was good.
Yep.
They didn't get any.
No black flags. Unsettling
no
seeing all 3 of them
no black
up
flags
on Saturday morning, long before the green flag.
Sunday morning. Yeah.
Well, no, Saturday they were all up too. Yeah.
Yeah.
They didn't go to bed, but they were up early. And then
I think they did when they think they're going to win or try to win. If they're totally out of it, they won't, but they do to start.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's right.
Sorry.
So Betty was having a fantastic weekend.
Yep. No flags at all for them. I don't know.
They ran nice clean shifts.
Holy crap. Right.
Mm-hmm. Which is good because what doesn't run clean shifts is mayonnaise and hot sauce. That's what, because they're not.
Hot sauce ran a clean shift. Hot sauce was just too honest.
Because
he's homemade.
Mayonnaise didn't run a clean shift either way.
Nope. But so yes, I am starting in the car. We kind of like jokingly pulled a fast one, and then because the other 2 Class B cars were the first ones outside of the top 10 to light up. Literally, it was the Farrell Shelby's, right behind him was the Haterade, but where the cars light up was right in front of our garage, so we pushed the car out and cut in front of everybody.
I mean, they could have pulled up a little bit more.
Right, they left a spot for us, and that we had to get out of our garage somehow.
And we didn't hit anybody. It made the right. That was the right place for us to be.
I even told them, I said, you guys just go ahead. And they went, it's going to confuse everybody. Don't bother.
Right. They're going to try to figure out why. I think that is the right answer. You don't need any confusion for that time.
Yeah. We were doing it as a joke, and then it kind of turned into something serious. So we go out. I think we only did 2 laps. They threw the green flag. We went to it. I chased Bert for probably a good 20 minutes until Bert decided they didn't want me chasing them anymore. So they left. And I think I was 30, 45 minutes into it. And I distinctly remember coming into 10, I go to cut to the outside. And as I go to cut to the outside, I almost took the nose off of the Haterade car because they had snuck up on me. And I waved at them, pointed to by, did my best for the next 40 minutes after that. And just finally got to the point where whoever they had their opening shift on Sunday, I could not keep up. They were just running, and they were running quick, but they were running smart. They were throwing a lot of picks at me. They knew where the crowds would be, and they could get around the crowds when the track was wide, and then force me to have to pick through it where the track got thin. It held me up a little bit, and then I catch them. And eventually they run away from me. And then I do come up on the feral Shelbys, and as I sneak up on them, it's one of those, oh, he caught me napping. And they took off, and I'm chasing them for the better part of, I want to say 40 minutes or so as well. And they ended up having to pull off the track for, I think, a pit stop. And that's when it started to rain. And it didn't immediately start raining. It just sprinkled, but it turned the entire track into a skating rink. It was just barely enough. And it was never a full course yellow, but it was effectively a full course yellow because every station had a car spun that they were waving a yellow flag. And my adapter was not working properly, but I could hear, and we'd already worked that out. So I'm getting updates. And at one point, I think a good, I'm a little more than, how long did I go? Was it the full?
About 2.5?
2.5. Yeah.
2:20 was target. You did a few minutes over target.
Because we were waiting for what we were hoped would be an extended double yellow. We got more than we wanted. So the light comes on after about 2 hours and 15 minutes. And Chris is doing some very effective calm out procedure. He's like, as you come down the hill, flash the lights if the light isn't on. And I've been running with the headlights on because it's a street legal car. And I turned the headlights off, stuck my hand out the window, and gave the big thumbs down.
We couldn't see your arm from there, just saying.
Couldn't see.
But yeah, I didn't know where you were standing when you said that.
Yeah.
Oh, well, it was raining, so we were in the garage. So we were just looking up the hill. We were inside, just looking up there.
Inside.
Yeah.
He goes, okay, I did not see the lights. Confirm we're going to do that again. I turn the lights back off, arm back out again. Got it. We're going to get ready to fuel. Still waiting for that double yellow. The best we could get was a lot of yellows. I see the flag wave in. I come in right there. And as we get Chrissy strapped in the car and she goes to pull out, and I think you were on your out lap when someone hit the sand barrels entering into pit lane.
Well, so back up
in a black flag all.
Yeah.
Back up.
I was standing there watching it happen because I was waiting to do the pit stop for Towley. So as Towley's running, this next car behind Towley hits the sand barrels.
Okay, hold on. So also we have a switch of teams. So Haterade comes in for a black flag contact. So you said they're racing clean until they didn't. So that dropped them down. And they were about 4 laps back. So obviously still in the hunt, obviously still working on it, but now it's really
I think I was in first at that point.
It was between you and the Shelbys is what it was. So Haterade was above you in class B. And so they were winning B. They dropped down when they got that black flag.
Mm-hmm.
So it was now between the Shelbys and you and the Shelbys is what it was.
The Shelbys had to pit.
Yeah.
And when it started,
they pitted right behind us,
right.
I believe.
When they pitted before I came in. And when it started to rain, they had to slow down because they were fighting clutch issues.
Right.
So they were trying to run the entire thing in 4 so that they wouldn't spin out. And
which I think
they were
did
driving
most of
smart,
all of Sunday.
but yeah, without traction, they didn't have a lot going on there.
Yep.
So I just gotten out of the car, and I also go to help Towley.
Okay. Do you mean to talk?
Okay,
no, waiting for.
I also go to help Towley when Chrissy comes in.
Okay, hold on. So you yell, I'm getting in the car, and you yell, it's an ice skating rink. It's crazy out there. The car is great. Go. I'm already hesitant on getting in a race car in the rain because I don't have a whole lot of experience doing that, just because of where I find myself in the rankings and when there's rain. And there hasn't been a whole lot of rain East Coast there hasn't been rain at East Coast races. It's been after the fact, or like we haven't had whole stints where they've just been standing water and that kind of thing. It's been a long time since we've had that. So I don't have a whole lot of experience in the rain. I'm already hesitant on doing that. So I go out and I go up the hill and I'm kind of skidding, and then I go into the bowl and I don't take a dry line. I take the wet line, and then I just spin. Because I don't know how to drive in the rain, even though Chris and I just talked about how do you drive in the rain? And I was like, oh, yeah, take dry lines. That sounds like a great idea. Well, what do? Take the wet line. Oh, it's really slippery down here. Oh, no, 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 no,
You mean the
no.
other
That's
way
what
around.
happened. What? It's slippery.
You mean
What?
the other way around? You said, oh,
I took the dry line where I took where you would drive in the dry.
Yeah.
That's the line that I took.
Sorry.
And that is not the lane that I should have been in.
Yes.
Would it have been better for me not to say anything? You said that like I
No,
said, it's a
no.
sweet-
I knew it was going to be wet.
sick.
I'm standing out there for 2 hours while you're in the car fretting about getting in the damn car. So I spin and I say, so as I'm spinning, I come in because I know that I spun. So I'm like, I'm just going to come in for my black flag. And at the time, I must have just missed the hit because I didn't even see the black flag all. I didn't even see a black flag for me. I just came in, and then Janice was like, well, good timing. You're going to have to sit here because there's a black flag all and you can't go out. And so I was like, great. So Chris and I are standing there, and I say, Chris, you should just get in the car because this is not going to go well. If we are actually going to try to win this, in this race
we were
car.
in first still.
We were. Yeah.
Okay.
So me trying to win in the rain this is not going to be great. So let's just not do that. So we put Chris in.
So I'm still sitting on pit row. I'm waiting for Chris to come back because you can't touch a car during a black flag all, and Tally's still sitting there when I notice Chris comes out in the car.
Yep. We just did that.
I say, hey, come here. Hand out the way.
Yes.
Come here. Get him out. And he's like, look, like, what do you want? It's like, no, you have to come here and look at this. And because Tally's right rear wheel had quite a lot of camber. Like quite an unnatural amount of camber, and no one had noticed it yet. So I wanted to make sure somebody could saw it so that they didn't just strap in Greg and send him out. So
I go and grab Greg and show him the thing that Chris just showed me, and they're like, "Oh, well, that's no good." And they were in first. They were.
They were in second. They were in second the whole time.
Okay.
Yes, they might have only been like a lap or two down, but they definitely didn't. I don't think they were in first the whole time.
They were
in the hunt.
3 laps down.
So that contact had contributed to the shear of a suspension bolt. After the black flag, they limped it back around. They fixed it, but without anything to go out there and hunt for, there's just no point in pushing it in bad weather.
Yep. So I went out in the bad weather and had a great time. Having a car with a defroster is really nice. Like actually,
well, who's the jackass that took the defroster out the first time because we need to add lightness? Well, how is that great when you can't see out the windshield?
So now I can see everything. It was fantastic.
No, I'm not looking at you. I'm looking at
raindrops. The first raindrops I saw, immediately I'm over there like, oh, everything's going full defrost. That car has a rear window wiper. You think that's stupid. That's not a race car. It's got a rear windshield wiper. Uh-huh. You know what's awesome in the rain when the track's all dirty? A rear windshield wiper. Yeah.
Yep.
It's the small joys, right?
Absolutely. And I know everyone in an open top car was like every now and again just watching that rear wiper go, going, fucker. He's mocking me with his rear wiper. Luxury.
Luxury. Because a Mazda 3 is luxury. Sure.
It is then.
All right.
So having modern ABS in addition to a defroster, really nice in the rain. Just gotta come into the corner and just, let's see how much traction we have. No. Okay, not much. Got it. So drive around, find the traction. That's what we did. Found where the traction was, which for future reference is not the dark pad coming out of turn 2. You got to slide through that to get up to the old pavement. Then there's grip. Coming into turn 3, it is on the far left, in like over the line on the far left. Lots more grip there than everywhere else. Coming up the hill, it is on the left. In the bowl, it is basically the exact opposite of the dry line, is the good wet line. That's less slippery. And the rest of it was pretty much normal. You go where you can go, essentially.
I did notice though in both the dry and the wet, because you told me like don't brake until the 1 marker, trust the ABS. And it took me a while to get there on Saturday, but I did. And I do remember a couple times I would either be motor side by side with someone that I was trying to get around or slowly creeping up on them. And especially the BMWs, they're like, haha, I've got 2 more cylinders. I'm like, yep. You keep on that gas, buddy. And then they would get on the brakes and I would just keep going. That was really nice. That was like it's like the opposite of being able to outrun everybody, just being able to casually outbrake everyone without drama.
Yeah, it's really convenient. Pass so many people that way in that car. So I'm out there and I think something doesn't feel quite right. And I hear a slight noise and when we're low speed, like on the parade laps on left turns. I'm thinking it's like, what is that? And like, I'm trying to like left foot brake and see if it goes away. And sometimes it changes, sometimes it doesn't. I'm like,
also,
I'm
how
not
can
sure.
you hear anything? Because the car is not quiet, but also you can't hear if I'm trying to talk to you next to you because your helmet is so, it must have been very loud because your
Apparently.
helmet
Well,
is
it was
so
super slight. Yes, the
quiet.
stilo blocks out all
Everything.
noise. It's amazing.
All noise.
But I heard a slight noise.
Okay.
Anyway, but
it must have been loud if you can hear slight.
Well, it was only when I was going like 30 miles an hour and there was like no other noise. Like I was low RPM,
okay,
no wind noise, like no nothing. That's when I could hear it. But anyway, the car felt okay. So I keep going. And then the car starts to very, very gradually start to feel worse. And when I say worse, it means it would move around in ways that it doesn't usually move around. Like I would have to apply a bit of steering correction under braking and going down the straight and at the top of the hill, the car would change directions a bit, not in correlation with any steering input. It would just decide to move around. And it was taking a firm hand to continue it to go well. But I'm still doing it because it's okay. And I know our car's braking, but cars can be pretty kind of broken and still go around enough to do all right. And I was like, all right, we only got like 2 hours left.
Meanwhile, Chrissy and I, we are prepared because we still have no radio because the battery has died. And we are prepared for an instant pit stop. We are standing up on the podium. We've got the jugs. We're suited up and we're waiting for a moment to sprint out there. And whenever you decide to come in. Yeah.
And so it's intermittent, like it's getting worse, but then it'll have a couple laps where it's fine. And then a lap or two where it's bad. And I'm starting to think, all right, of anyone, I'm probably the best person to be in the car for longer when it's janky, frankly. So I'm going to stay in as long as I can. Or until it becomes not really suitable to drive. Well, option B is what went out there. Is when I came up around the corner and the car shot to the right with no over the top of the hill at 5 with no input at all. And I said, all right, this is unsafe. Something is clearly very wrong. So it went back in the car. It felt like it was left front to me. I brought it in, found Mental and Chrissy. They were very sad, but it's like, it's not safe. We have to do something. By the way, at this point, 6th overall and leading class by a couple laps. We're doing great.
Quite.
Womp womp.
Wipe womp.
So that was with 2 hours left. So we start poking around, checking everything. Everything looks fine. Like there's maybe the left front shock is starting to blow and that, but that's it. But that's not the problem. Nothing else is moving. I thought it was a bad bushing or something. And Mental finally says, let's check the rear. Grabs the left rear wheel and it moves a good couple inches right on the first
it makes a healthy clunky sound.
Yeah, sure does. So it turned out the rear wheel bearing on the car, Chrissy's going to play a little video here about how that moves around, which is not shown through.
There it goes.
Yeah, it just clunk around. There's your problem. Yep. So the rear
that's
wheel
not supposed to
bearing
do that.
Is a hub and bearing assembly that bolts to the trailing arm with 4 bolts. The 4 bolts had all loosened to the point where there was a good at least half-inch gap. Yeah, around. So I said, all right, well, let's take it apart, see what it has. I had a spare, so fine, take that one off, replace it with the spare. And really, and amazingly, none of the bolts were damaged at all. Like none of the threads were damaged in any way, shape, or form. There's the rotor rubbed the caliper bracket a little because the rotor was really kind of what was holding the wheel on at that point. So, but that was it. Put the new one on. Sent Chrissy out for the last hour. Go have fun.
That was the face she made. That was exactly the face she made when you put her back out in the rain.
It wasn't raining.
It was gotten fairly dry at that point.
It was fairly dry. Yeah. So that was one of the reasons why I was okay with going out. But when I got out, I'm not sure I had fun. It was It was a knife fight. It was
It's the
so...
final. It's the final stint
Uh-huh.
of the
Welcome to the
final
last hour of the race.
in the Northeast.
I have not done this maybe ever. And I'm not sure I want to.
There's a reason I always close.
Oh my gosh.
Everybody had to get back from the shore. They had to go to work tomorrow. That's how he's all driving.
People were hitting each other. People are spinning everywhere. They're overdriving the car. There's 3 wheels going around corners. I have, 8, I have, groups of 3 or 4 that they all just storm up on me. And I'm going, I'm in the middle. I am Charles Leclerc in the F1 race at the first start. I don't know if Mental, do you watch the race? We watched it in the middle of today.
So you just randomly decided to hit the Mexican? Is that what you did? Because if you're saying you're Charles Leclerc, that's what I'm hearing.
He did not hit the Mexican. This is not enough.
Racist Montaguan who took out the Mexican at his home Grand Prix.
You're
lucky to be out of the country alive.
He got booed. Anyway, so I was in, I have 4 cars that are coming. They're getting around me as fast as possible, and I'm like, dude, I do not want to be part of this. I'm keeping up. I'm sure my times weren't great, but also it's much slipperier than when I was out first thing Saturday morning. So it's a little bit different than when I was used to last time in the car. I was keeping up with traffic. I was passing people. So it wasn't that I was dangerously slow. It was just that people were very fast. And so I just kind of had people, I was driving in my mirrors more than I was just the start of Saturday.
Mayonnaised it up. It's fine.
I mayonnaised it up. So it was fine. I did fine. I don't think I had fun. So I don't really want to take that stint again, but I did it and we had a great time and I brought it home in one piece and I wasn't, I don't think I had many yellow. Oh, there was a double yellow at the very end of the race, but after that, so it's funny that I'm sitting in the car after checker, great, we're driving around and I'm like, oh my God, this car is so hot. Like the Honda used to be just hot, like just a bake, like an oven, but the Mazda was never. And yeah, right. He's laughing because the heat is on all the way full blast. And I am like, I don't realize it until I sit and look around and I'm like, I'm racing a car, sure, but like it's never been this hot. So the heat was on
because we were driving in the rain.
I was not. And so not only am I in my underpants and my racing suit and I'm racing, so I'm pretty warm. And I'm like, I have to like put my arm out the window to get air because I was like, this is baking me. I'm looking at my gauges and I'm like, is this on fire? No, the heat's on. So great. Heat is great when it's on and it's working. It sucks when you don't realize it's on and then I turn it off and say, oh, that's much better.
That's a good one.
Yeah, right. It's nice to have it.
I had not heard that story.
I think I don't even remember what I told Chris, but I didn't realize that the heat was all the way on. So now I know. But it was fine. I got out and I was safe and fine. And apparently all the cars blew up right behind me. So I was coming in, people were cheering, and all of a sudden there's this big puff of smoke right behind me. And then they told me that I did it. And I was like, I did not do that.
The enthusiastic revving of the feral Shelbys when their clutch finally decided, I'm not going to disengage anymore, and power launched them into the car in front of them.
I didn't do it.
It was exciting.
It was
wasn't
hilarious.
me. It wasn't me.
Yeah. But my public service announcement, folks, because there were like 2 cars that tried to do it and literally everyone is yelling at them. Don't do burnouts leaving the track. You're a moron. We've literally had kids and dogs and toddlers on scooters there, and you're going to do a controlled burnout. You're like 37th in a friggin' race of a bunch of morons. Looking at you, Lexus LS 400. And somebody else did that kind of stuff. And then like, don't hold up and pose for pictures. Just come off the track, get your beer, slap some people's hands and move.
There's 100 cars need to get off track. Keep
Seriously,
going.
100.
Right. And it sucks when so when they had checker and when it started backing up, I think I was just coming down the hill at the Turtle. And so I had a long time to wait to get off track. So it's not only like you want to see your car come through, but also if you're in the car, you're like, I just want to get out. I knew I had to wait. Yeah. I had a claw waiting for me. So I was like,
and also like, everybody behind you, their race car, they just been running for like a couple of hours. And now their car is going to sit there and heat soak. Yeah. Just no, I'm not telling you to race off the track, but stop, do the pictures in your paddock and no burnouts. That's just stupid.
Yep. So I think overall, successful, easy, fun weekend that was, again, with this Mazda, one stupid small mechanical problem away from a mid top 10 finish in a class win.
Unseen
Again.
mechanical problem. We all shook all the wheels on that car Saturday night, and they were all fine.
Yeah, they were.
Random weird crap. The sport will break your heart.
It's true. Endurance racing breaks the weirdest stuff.
But the lesson learned
So-
is listen to the car.
Sure. Listen to it.
Yep.
If you can hear it. And then on the flip side, I didn't have headphones in because nobody was going to talk to me with my last stint, and everything was so loud without headphones.
I can't believe you guys don't know that. I hear every like marble that kicks up underneath the car every time I'm going there. I know if I'm starting to get off the line a little bit because the underside of the car, everything starts tinging off the backside.
I don't know any of that because I have a Stilo and it blocks.
I hear the no. I know if I'm over driving into a corner because the tires complain. You guys
Oh
get
no,
it, get yourself some-
that means they're telling you did a good job.
Yeah.
That's
Different
true. I don't
tires
think
say
I don't think
different
that's
things.
the noise that they're making when I'm over driving it.
The Hancooks, when they talk, they're happy.
Oh
I
no,
talk
no.
to you.
When they howl, they're good. When they screech, that's a warning.
Less so.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay, don't do that.
Anyway, so Matt, did you have a good time? First time you've been out racing with us in a while.
Yes. The last time I drove that car was our New Jersey Halloween Meets Gasoline, which was last year, wasn't it?
Yeah, last year, June.
Yeah. Yeah. You always have that post-race hangover, and it goes one of three ways, just, unbelievable, like, exhausted joy when you pop into work on Monday, or just the absolute regret of why didn't I check this or do that or do this thing or all of that. And then there's just that good, warm satisfaction. You're going to be exhausted the next day at work, but you don't regret it. And that had been such a feeling for so long when we started doing this, and I was still living on the East Coast. I had honestly forgotten what it felt like, just, and I'm driving down through New Hampshire. I'm eating my little bag of road cookies. It was everything that a 3-pedal mafia race is supposed to be.
I agree.
Great.
No, it
One
was
of
a good
these days
weekend.
we'll get
And
that stupid
I
B-Way.
think we may have actually skipped over it because we didn't have anything snarky to say. But actually being back there and being able to eat Chrissy's mom's cookie. Thank you, Chrissy's mom.
Thank you, Mom. She, as usual, we said, look, there's not going to be that many people there. I think we had 5 bags of cookies.
When she says
So
bag,
much.
she's not meaning Ziploc. She's meaning the
No.
ones you take to the grocery store.
Yeah. There's
During
I don't know,
COVID. Yeah. Those bags.
like 8 different kinds, 9 different kinds, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I ate
A lot. It
I
was
ate
a lot.
Great, though.
Yeah, well, that's okay. You have all year to
that
or
was-
a good couple months to recover.
Till April.
That was breakfast on Sunday was peanut
Heck
butter and jelly
yeah.
bars.
Yeah, or Rice Krispie treats. That was like
Right.
dessert for everything. So it was it was awesome. And I brought some to the potluck. I don't even know what I brought, but people may have had Chrissy's mom's cookies and they didn't realize it. So that happened.
There was some quality, there's Porsche, but then there's a lot of good cars that aren't Porsches. And then there's Chrissy's mom's cookies, but there was still a lot of good homemade cookies that weren't Chrissy's mom's cookies.
Yeah. I mean, I looked at them, but
Yeah.
Good. That's a nice weekend.
I am fascinated to know what you have down here.
Yeah,
for
let's
this,
hear it.
Chris.
Let's hear it.
I
didn't
didn't
read
put it in this section. One of you did, and I don't understand why you put it in this section because
Oh.
this is clearly listener feedback.
Yeah,
I thought someone else had a story as to why they did this.
I didn't put it in
Oh.
here.
I
right.
didn't either. I put it in listener feedback, and I came back later, and there was a whole bunch of other listener feedback, and this moved down, and I said, "Okay, someone's got a plan."
All right.
Got it.
Well, we'll do the listener feedback on this one, but Chris was agreeing about your remarks about the Concord Hospital lines. They've
Well,
actually been very long, especially closer to the night that you get. You said you were in and out.
Yeah.
And he was
apparently
saying,
it's changed since then. So
yeah.
Yep. Chris also described that his day job is building controls and automation. And we were talking about the guy who hacked the Mazda software
to work with
yeah.
his home assistant. Yeah.
Right. He said, I can think of how to do what that guy wanted to do with the Mazda in a way that doesn't fly in the face of Mazda's API and would work for any OBD2 car.
So check out his
Chris.
new consulting company, Young Chris Egan Enterprises, and get your car to start telling you I'm out of gas. James M got on there and was 100% in agreement with your virtual track walk.
Yeah. He said, I'm excited to come back to New Hampshire. Missed the last few years. That he agreed on the line that I was talking about. So you can turn in so late into the bowl, and when it works, it's super fast. He said, I also like to stay on the gas through 8 and break straight into 9. Agreed. Turn 10 is a great place to pass people if you're comfortable with the pavement transitions. Yes, and that has a lot to do with your suspension compliance.
Which that 3 is, I could take people on the inside. I could take people on the outside. I could set them up, make them think I was going inside, then go on the outside. Yeah, that was a turn 10 was a really good place to pass people. I would not have tried that in Betty, but in the 3, it was fantastic.
Yeah. And he said the ditches on 11 and 12 are legit and not to be messed with. And that is for sure. They did not get any better this year. Like, they are car swallowers now. They are.
One of the Miatas, I think he like dropped the wheel and then just darted across almost up into the banking in turn 3. I don't know if that was mechanical or something.
Because like it won't even climb the other end of it. Sometimes like you're so far off, or it hits the control arm because it's so far deep. They are really suggest they put something in those. But I guess I like the fact that they don't, so no one goes over them because it's safer that way.
Then it encourages 2 wide, 3 wide, wide, but people might try. Yes.
So for just the tip, I'll say this, and Chrissy probably has numbers to back it up. It was an article I came across today, and I might be industrious and have this available in time. The most deadly night of the year for pedestrians is Halloween. People are dressed in dark costumes. They're not reflective. Other people are altered. So if you can help it, don't drive around tomorrow night, especially starting, not too long after school and then after sunset. Look out for those folks. If you got exterior lights in your house, turn them all on, put as much brightness in front of your house so that those little ghosts and goblins are seen. And if you do find yourself going out there, allow some extra time. Pretend that you are driving through the paddock at a lemons race, and one of the judges is going to, actually not even the judges anymore, it's all the other racers will all yell at you to slow down. So, I am certain that 100% of our demographic knows how to behave in dense pedestrian traffic, but you might be the one that sets the example for someone who doesn't listen.
And that'd be awful.
So just be aware. That would be, yes, it would. It would just be awful. Even if it's just, scaring some poor kid while they're out there trying to do Halloween stuff, because they're not paying attention to you. They're all running from house to house going, oh my God, this is so cool. I got a Kit Kat. I got a Reese's bar. And they're not looking up. They're doing
this
what
house gives away the
do.
full-size ones.
Yes, exactly. They're doing what kids do. And you don't want to have a kid get hurt because they're being a kid. So you've got to be doubly aware. And I would encourage you to tell everyone that you work with to also remind everyone to not be doofuses tomorrow night.
Yep.
Cool.
I'm going to be Mayo. I'm very excited.
No one's excited for Mayo.
I'm excited for Mayo. You know who's excited? Kim Harmon's excited for Mayo, as the picture that I sent you, because she sent it to me because she was enjoying some lovely creamy mayo.
On what?
Sandwich.
Nothing, just
on a
spoonful?
sandwich.
Yeah.
No, it was on a sandwich. I sent you a picture.
My camera was already set up. I haven't. It came up on my computer. I haven't opened the message yet.
Got it. Got it.
Yeah. There's the thing about it is Mayo people, they're all out in public, but like, all right, all the hot sauce supporters, they're on the DL. They're coming up to you going, really, I like hot sauce better. I just don't want to say anything in front of. I don't
think anybody said that this weekend. You know who nobody came up and
Janice said it.
Maybe there was, because she likes you. There was, I think, one person that said that
Tom and Jan Webb agreed. Hot sauce
they liked mustard, and most people said they do not like mustard. I think there was one person. I was giving him credit, like just
mustard, because mustard ruins a shirt. Everyone knows that.
And everything else.
Hey, mayonnaise was invented by Nazis. So
I was not going to share this joke on the internet. You should not share that joke on the internet.
And on that note, Chrissy, what are we talking about next week?
I don't know. I'm not going to be there.
But I typed it out for you.
Right? Houston. I guess we're going to talk about Houston, where everybody else is going, and I'm not. So there. No, I could have been going. I just chose not to. So. Great.
Priorities.
It is priority. Come on, Chris. Come on. Come on. Come on, we're waiting
Yay,
for
I got
you.
it. I got it. Hey, thanks for downloading us. We hope you enjoyed this condiment-filled edition of Everyone Racers. Also hope you will join us in the world of driving, racing, building, and sandwiches, because everyone can be a racer, even you. If you enjoyed this podcast, subscribe. It's totally free. Then go to iTunes, give us that 5-star rating. Even if you hate it, give us 5 stars and tell us which is your favorite condiment. If you have
Except
any
unless
questions or
you're
show
relish.
ideas-
If you're relish, just stop listening.
nobody actually likes relish. You
No
just
one likes
ruined a good
relish.
pickle.
Seriously.
So anyway, questions or show ideas, hey, drop us a comment like that person did tonight. Will, thanks. And there's a great place to do it on the website, the Facebook page, everyone.racers@gmail.com. Text mental pictures of your junk. Showed us a lot of rusty junk this weekend that he got pictures from Brian, 484-243-0455. So yeah, thanks again, everyone.
Got a
Until the
picture
next-
of Tyler Stake's junk leaking fluid.
Excellent. Leaky junk.
Leaky junk.
All these junks are great. Equal opportunity junks. So keep that shiny side up. Unless there is no shiny side, then just slather some mayonnaise on it, because that'll make it shiny no matter what you do.